Well, for more what's happening on the ground, I'm now joined by our Turkey analyst, Yusuf Erim. Yusuf, good to have you on set. Well, when you look at President Trump and when he made this announcement last month, it was against his national security advisors, and it came to the surprise of many lawmakers in Washington, D.C. The fact that Donald Trump is now saying that he'll get out slowly, not giving any specific time, what does that say to you?
Well, first thing, this is exactly what Turkey wants. Turkey did not want a sudden withdrawal from Trump. They didn't ask for a sudden withdrawal from Trump. They wanted an organized, highly coordinated Syria exit, and one where they could replace U.S. presence, especially east of the Euphrates and in Manbij. So the whole idea that this is not what Turkey wants or Turkey's against this, no, Turkey's not against this. They're on board. But now when we look at the other lines coming out of the White House, that they're going to continue to protect the YPG or protect the Kurds, as Trump says. Now, we need to differentiate between who's good and who's bad. Well, when we look at what Turkey and Russia did in Idlib, they were able to sit down together and differentiate who's positive for the city and who's a terrorist group for the city. They did a very good job. When Trump talks about protecting the Kurds, well, we see almost 15 million Kurds in Turkey. Istanbul has the highest Kurdish population in the world. 30 years ago, Turgut Özal, the former president of Turkey, he's Kurdish. We see that Kurds are very well protected in Turkey, and they enjoyed the highest offices of the government in Turkey as well. As for President Trump changing his rhetoric constantly, this looks like the U.S. is just trying to buy time. Maybe they don't know exactly what they want to do right now in Syria. But Turkey does know what it wants to do, and what it wants to do is protect its borders.
Okay, and when you look at yesterday's cabinet meeting in Washington, D.C., does this sort of change Turkey's position in any of this? You mentioned, sort of gave an example of what they did with Russia. They sit at opposite ends of the table, so how do they work together with a NATO ally?
Well, what we see now, the current situation after Trump's announcement yesterday, is we're kind of back to square one. We're back to a month ago. So if we're back to a month ago, we're back to what Turkey wanted a month ago, which is still an operation east of the Euphrates and in Manbij. And they were ready to undertake this operation while U.S. forces were still present there. So I don't think this changes anything from a Turkish aspect. It might complicate things for both sides now if American presence is continued, or if America continues to back the YPG while this operation is going on. But let's not kid ourselves. Everyone knows who the YPG is. Best of all, the major opposition to Trump's withdrawal decision, Lindsey Graham, he knows who the YPG is better than anyone, why he's opposing the president so much on this decision and trying to help the YPG. I don't understand. We can go back to his 2016 comments when he was questioning former Secretary of Defense Ash Carter, and he specifically says the YPG is the Syrian offshoot of the PKK, a listed terrorist organization.
Well, they say that, but the rhetoric that's coming out from the Trump administration is that we will continue to support our Kurdish allies there. All right, Yusuf, thank you for that explanation. I appreciate it.